Yeah, hi, hello all. Welcome to the Java full stack development session. So, in yesterday's session, we have discussed about what is full stack development and what is web application development process. Also, we have discussed about different types of software applications. Coming to the web application development, we learned full stack is nothing but the complete end-to-end web application development process, right? In that we do have two parts, that is front-end development and we have back-end development. So in front-end development, there are different technologies we use like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React.js as a framework. In backend, we can go with the multiple, flavors, that is with either Java or with Node.js or with .NET or with Ruby or PHP, like that we can go with that. So the main purpose of backend here is to create the server, because when we talk about full stack development or web application development, it contains two parts, that is client side development and server side development. So to develop the things at server side, we take the help of these technologies which I mentioned here, like Java or Node.js, Python or .NET or PHP, something like that. And the layers, typical architecture, typical web application architecture, I say it is a three-tier architecture which contains first layer as a presentation layer and followed by the application layer, and then it is like a data layer. The first one, presentation layer, also known as a UI development in this process. And in that, what exactly happens is people create the web pages and subsequently create the website, designing the website, I say, to be specific. Next, in backend development, we'll be developing the server side development. In that, we create different modules, different programs, and different functions we write, and we call this as application layer. This one we call presentation, this one application. And last is, if you want to save the data in your application for permanent storage, we use data layer, because in backend, uh, in the program you might write different variables, but those variables will hold the data only for temporary purpose. The moment you are running the program, at that time only the values will be there in the variables. The moment you close the program or you shut down the program, then what happens? No data will be there in that variable. So that should not happen, right? Really your data should be stored permanently. So for that purpose we use database layer, data layer. Yeah, that's it. And together, data layer and application layer, we call it as a backend development, complete backend development. So in our course, coming to the front end, we are going with yeah, as I already mentioned, HTML, which is actually responsible for the content of the web page. Now it will be adding the content is by creating the structure. CSS is responsible for the appearance of the web page. How it will be doing is by adding the styles. Coming to the JavaScript, it adds some dynamic nature. It is responsible for mainly the behavior of your web page. When the web page is running, at that time how it behaves decides with the help of JavaScript, and it adds some dynamic nature to your web pages. Without JavaScript, there is no dynamic web pages, all static web pages. React.js makes your work easy at front end, instead of writing pure JavaScript code. That's it. And coming to the back end, we are going with the Java language. Here we are sticking to Java. In that complete Java concepts, we'll be learning first, and then we'll be talking about the database. And in that, we talk about MySQL database, and we'll be learning a database language called SQL. Using that, we'll be performing the basic CRUD operations. And after that, we'll learn Java framework called Spring Boot. We'll be learning, and after that, will be combining your SQL with the Java. So these are the actual main parts in the backend. First, how our journey will start is like, I talk first about, what is Java, how Java, why Java, and all. Then after few classes, I talk about the environment setup. Why? Because we can able to execute Java in our computer by installing the Java software, by setting up the environment, and without that also directly in the internet also you can execute. Internet means online compilers available, which will convert your Java code into executable code. Okay, we see that. Important thing is the programming fundamental concepts. We'll be learning these concepts. Once we are clear with this, and then we'll move to object-oriented concepts. In that, we have a lot of stories there in the object-oriented concepts. So those things, that actually starts from class and object, but it continues with the inheritance, polymorphism. Like we have different properties, aspects associated with object oriented programming. Usually people say it's a short term, like a short word, like oops concept. After that we'll be learning, okay, this SQL, MySQL, all the things I told you already yesterday. This will be your back end journey. And servlet JSPs will be creating, and then REST APIs, and creating them with Spring Boot and testing those REST APIs. Fine, these are the things we'll be doing. And coming to the projects, only in the backend we'll be creating two live projects. We'll be creating one is with the database, without a database. Apart from this, we'll be implementing multiple tasks we will be doing in Java base. So more than 30 tasks, I say, like you will be doing in the course, only for the back end. Coming to the front end, we'll be having more. So together, I can select more than 60 plus tasks we'll be doing. And the projects in the back end, once you're done with two projects, then you'll be learning the front end. In that, four projects we'll be doing. At the end of the day, I mean, end of the course, we'll be doing one more project, which is completely a full stack project we'll be doing. End-to-end application will be developing. So 4 plus 2 plus 1, it will be 7. And the course will be completely practical. And I told you about the GitHub as well, right? You need to create a GitHub profile to showcase your technical skills to the recruiter. And that ID, like the profile ID of GitHub would be pasted in your resume if you are a fresher. But still, what happens is, whatever the code you have written, whatever the projects you have developed throughout the course, you will be mentioning in the GitHub. So, and there will be no problem for you. Why? Because you are not doing it something like, you are not downloading the project from outside, you're not adding them. So you are doing everything on your own. Throughout the course you'll be doing, during the course you'll be doing it, and then those things only you'll be mentioning in the GitHub. Those things only you'll be pushing into GitHub account. That you know um, that address only you'll be mentioning in that GitHub address only you'll be mentioning in the resume. That will be advantage to you. So that's it. This is about how your journey of Java full stack development will be. I talk about front end later. First, we'll be doing complete back end. Yeah. So now, as I told you, we are sticking to the language like a Java language. So before this, if you talk about any program, it should contain three parts actually. So this one, we need to write the code, and we need to compile the code, and then later we need to execute the code. So what does it mean by writing the code? Here we take one editor, like I'm writing something notepad. Now notepad is also editor, where using keyboard we can write whatever we want. Like that we can write the code. If you want to write that code, First of all, you should be good with that language, Java. Take example Java, anything. First write the code and then compile. Compile means here uh, we need to convert that code into another, what I say, like another format, I say, because it's a programming language. Whatever you write over there with some keywords like for, if you are already aware of some languages, you will be knowing it. For if you write something like that, then those things actually not understood by the computer, because where do you run your programs, guys? Definitely you will be running in the computer or any devices, digital device you will be running. Maybe you run something in ATM machine, right? Yeah, that is also a mission, right? There you'll be running. So definitely those things will not be understanding this English keywords and all. You'll be knowing only the machine level language. Machine level means, people say zeros and ones, but actually the meaning of, machine level is that only, but it is like a little bit. That is actual representation is zeros and ones, but actual machine language is like, whenever you are having that devices, what we generally have inside the devices, we have some circuits, right? Electronic circuits will be there. When you're talking about those circuits, in that sometimes what I say, like diodes will be there, transistors, diodes. Through that, the power supply will be there, and sometimes power supply will not be there. So when the diode is on, like one, when the diode is off, it is like zero. That is called zeros and ones. Okay, fine. That only can be understood by the digital devices like computer. So there is a need to convert your Java code or any code into machine understandable language. Machine understandable means here uh, machine code, machine level code, or something. People say it like binary. That language it has to be, because as human beings we talk natural languages like Hindi, Telugu, English, right? And systems understand only machine language. So there is no what I say, like, compatibility between your speaking language and machine. So there is a requirement of a translator. You know the general meaning of translator, right? Yeah, yes, we need a requirement of translator. So when you have observed in general example, like, China prime minister, China, or like, China president, or whenever you see Japan prime minister, those people, not all, but most of them don't speak English. You know that, right? So then what happens whenever two of the, you know heads of any nations are speaking, then there will be one person always associated with them, who will be translating basic English speech into their own language. So without the translator, there will be no conversation. I hope you got it. In the same way, the language, whatever you write the code and all, it is only understood by us mostly. So system never. So that's the reason it has to be converted into system understandable format. That is the reason we have to first compile the code. So to do that, actually the process is compilation, but the person who do that activity is like a compiler. So there will be one person, means actually it's like a software only. That compiler will convert your normal, what, like high level programming language code into the low level, like, binary level. It will be converting. So to do that, first we need to install this compiler in your computer or machine where actually you wanted to, execute the code. Clear? The same works for every language. If you wanted to work with C language, you might be having an idea. If you are done engineering, then in that, before you learn any C language related things, first you need to, install C language related compiler, turbo C compiler, some light green or some blue color screen you've seen, right? So that is what first compiler should be there. Fine, that is what, basic about, the program and all. And the programming languages are two types actually. They are like, high level programming languages, and we have something like low level programming language. But nowadays people are not using low level programming languages for development. People are using only high level language for development. The examples are like, Java, Python, C language, So these are examples for JavaScript. So these are examples for level programming languages. Coming to the low level, we have like assembly language, something like that. There are programming languages. To be frank, low level programming languages are speed. uh, Execution. When you talk about execution, low level programming language will execute faster compared to high level. But writing of code in low level language is like hectic. Why it is actually fast? Because these things will directly work on the microprocessor level. You know microprocessor, right? In computers, we have microprocessor. So directly on that processor level, directly these things will work. But these are not at all user friendly. High level languages are user friendly, like Java, Python, C, and all. And what people will use in this is there are certain syntax related what I say, like standards will be there. We need to follow them, and in between you do have something like English keywords. So it's a combination of certain rules and some certain English keywords will be there, and with that those high level programming languages are written. Later they will be converted into understandable code and all. That's so this is what works for any programming language, and using them people will write the programs. People will actually start writing the code. Some lines of code people will be writing. So few lines of code together gives you a program. So all the programs, few programs together gives you one software application. That is what some intro about your program, software application, need of programming language, and now we will talk exclusively about Java now. Why to go with Java actually? Java has some features, some specific features are there with Java, which actually enables anyone to start Java journey, uh, provided you have some basic C language knowledge. And if you don't have also, yes, you can able to learn because it almost looks like C language in terms of syntax. Fine. But before I talk about this, there's the word like Java. How this word called Java came that language. There's one person like James Gosling who is like a uh, founder for Java. People say inventor for Java. He has a team, and the particular team worked on one particular project. Java itself is a project actually. They created one project. The project has become a language, and people are using the language. So the moment they started developing it, they got an idea of objects. Objects means in real world we observe some objects, right, like car, like customer in a bank, like employee in company, so etc. These are like what? These are objects. What every object will contain? If you take an example of car will contain some properties. Car will have one engine, car will have steering, car will have seats, car will have some body, right? Like that. And apart from that, what car will have? Car will do certain actions, move forward, it will move backward, and it will do some activities. That depends on the entity, real world entities. Depending on that entity, it will do some actions. So properties and actions. But what the main idea behind this is, the main advantage, or what I say, like why Java has got more popularity is those team did one beautiful thing, that they wanted to incorporate this concept of real world entity into programming. Means those properties they want to represent and those actions they want to represent. So these properties, they took it as something like property variables, and those actions they created something like methods, and together they created something like a class for entity. So this aspect has changed the style of programming in the world. So that's why Java has got more popular. So like that, Java has some features actually. It's like a simple language, and Java is platform independent language, and Java is like a portable. and it's a robust language which contains so many things inbuilt. And Java is highly secure language, garbage collection. I will tell you what is that. Garbage collection or garbage collector will be there. Yeah, so like that, we do have some properties, like features related to Java, but these are very uh, prominent or something like some important features. Other than this, you have Java as one feature like object-oriented concepts. Java follow definitely object-oriented programming be done with Java. Yeah. So when it comes to simple, the language simple, what does it mean? Simple means it's not like the coding is simple or something like that. No, it's not at all like that. Definitely, when you're talking about the coding or developing the logics means definitely you need to put your mind and you need to think about the problem and you have to come up with a solution. You have to write the code. There is no escape. Then why people say then simple language? Because before Java, there is a language called C language. In C language, to represent anything like variables, data types, and conditions, loops, and all, there are keywords people used. Example are something like int, for, if, like break. These are some examples for some keywords. What this Java people did is when they invented this, they almost used same keywords in Java language, and also the style they used, like a block of code, curly brace, curly brace indicates what? Block of code. So these things also they almost maintained in Java language. So for the people who already know C language or the people who are actually interested to learn C language or who are fascinated about uh, programming languages or who already have some little bit idea about C language can easily migrate to Java. That is what their initial feeling when they took this Java language with same syntax. But that is the reality also the same. Whoever already have that actually because so many people were like very much interested to go with C language because before C the languages are very like very basic languages like Fortran language, Pascal language, basic language, assembly language, like that languages were there. So that's the reason people changed to C like anything. But due to this object-oriented concepts and this garbage collection and mainly its portability and platform-independent nature, people suddenly converted into Java language. So that is what Java's simple is about. So whatever like in C, can almost be used in the Java. At that time, it looks simple. Next is like platform independent. Platform independent means you are having one computer like PC one. In that computer, you created some Java program and you compiled it, and then you took that compiled file to another computer PC two. There you want to run the program. Yes, happily you can able to run the program. Then you may think like yes, it can be happen anywhere. No, if you write some program in C language in one computer and you compiled it, compilation done, no errors, compiled file is ready. Now that is executable ready. Now the same file if you take from that computer through pen drive or something and you went to another computer, there if you want to run it, it will not run guys. It will not give the desired output. Uh, so then what we have to do? The source file means whatever the code you have written, that writing of code concept will be there, no, that file only you have to take from uh, computer one in C language I am talking, and copy that and you take it and go to the another computer there, again recompile the program, then one executable file will be created in that particular computer, then only it can be then only it can be executed. So every time if you take from one computer to the other computer, you have to recompile. But whereas in the case of Java, what happens is if you write any code in any of the computer, and the moment you compile the program, then one file will be generated. That file you can able to execute it any file. Any file means like anywhere you can able to any computer you can able to execute. You no need to recompile it. Then this is what we say like a platform independent nature. Some of you may get doubt like okay, we can easily compile, no problem. What happens, you can compile in any other computer also. Means, see guys, whenever you are learning, you are writing some programs whose number of lines are just 20 lines code, 40 lines code. Maximum you write some 100 or 200 lines code, and your compilation will take 1 second or 2 seconds depending on your lines of code. But in real time scenario, sometimes what happens is when you are compiling the code, people in the companies will start compilation in the evening. While they are leaving the office, they start compilation before they leave that company. Company means like they're done with that day, right? They'll be going to home. At that time they start compilation. Tomorrow morning they will come back. At that time the compilation will be completed. I hope you got it. Such kind of programs also will be there. So when there is a requirement to run such kind of programs in another computer, definitely it will be a big hectic task when you're going with the computer to computer. So why actually Java is platform? People say Java platform independent, but exactly why it is having that platform independent nature is, I will tell you guys. This is very important. Try to understand. Assume you created one file. Okay. One program you created. For that you have written some name like program or something like program1.c. Dot C means whatever the code you write in any file and you save it with the dot C is like a C program. And the moment you compile that, then what happens is one .exe file will be created. So prog1 program1.exe. .exe file means an executable file, guys. This is directly run by the processor of your computer. Where processor will be there inside the CPU, right? That directly runs. Motherboard inside CPU, right? So that directly runs. Intel like that processor that directly runs your code. That is what usually happens. Now this .exe files or whatever it is, whatever you are running, that exe files are not same, guys. Not same means same code you write, but for the .exe file whatever generated, the moment it is generated .exe file, that is compatible to that particular processor at that moment. Means if you write the same C code and if you don't compile, if you write in another computer and if you come up with the .cx, see, assume you are doing everything in the PC1, okay? Program 1 you created and you compiled .c. Now program 1.exe created. Now if you take that program 1.exe file from computer PC1 to PC2, then what happens is here it will not be executed because in PC2 you have another processor. Another means don't think like uh, version different i5 i7. No, another means every processor is different, unique. So that when you try to execute by other processor like in another computer, definitely it will not understand this, or it may understand it differently and it will not give you the desired output at all. So that is what happens. Then why? Because whenever a exe file is created at that time, wherever the exe file created, there only it can be executed properly. Now in this case, in PC1 executed exe file created, but in that is compatible to that processor only. The exe file cannot be executed in another one. Then how Java is able to do this? Then it's very simple. In Java, something different is there. See, this process is called what I told, the compilation. Everything this is like, after compile, program1.exe file is created, executable file. Yeah. In Java, what happens is, assume same some program you have written dot Java file you have written, then immediately what you will do, you will be compiling the program. The moment you will be compiling the program, if errors are there, it will throw the error. Once you have seen the error, if you rectify the error, then errors gone, your file will be created. Here, what file should be created actually? The program1.exe file. But in Java, it will not create like that. There is one intermediate file will be there called object object files. It will be created. Understood? And when it will be created after compilation, means no errors, and if any errors, will be rectifying the errors and will be again executing, so that at the end of the day, so the object file, means dot object is created. Now, what does it mean here? It is a code, a compiled code. Here, program1.txt is what? It's a compiled C code without errors. And what is program1.obj? It is also a compiled Java code without errors. Now, this will be, you have to execute that file. The moment it will be creating one .exe file. How it will create, I will show you in what I say, when you are executing this file. Actually, we can't see directly, it will be created, will be executed by the you know computer. Okay, fine, but whatever. Now here, important thing is, uh, you go to another computer now. Okay, take to another computer. Here, the moment you carry this computer, this file. What is this file? We don't carry program1.java file. This time we carry a file called program1.obj. This file you carry, and there we'll try to execute that file. The moment you do that, see here in this computer, if you are doing as per this processor, which processor? As per computer one, PC1 processor. So as per that, this program executable file is created, so that it is happily executed. In this, the moment you take this program1.obj file, and there, the moment you start executing that file, immediately one .exe file is generated. Where it is generated? It is generated in the processor 2, means in second computer. So as per that processor, it will be created, so that it will be happily executed. I hope you understood. So the compilation, after compilation without errors, directly executable file is created and will be executed by the processor. So, but by first processor. If you take the same executable file to the next one, then what happens is it is compatible only to the processor one, not to the processor two. That's the reason it cannot be executed. But here, intermediate, some more extra came, one more extra thing. What actually it will do is, it will convert your Java code with the after compilation, if, without any errors. If errors, it will be rectifying. After errors, this will be a file object, executable file. That is like, the code is ready to be executed, but without any errors. This one, if you want to execute directly, the moment you, there will be one command to execute, or if you have the IDE, there you will be having a button to execute. The moment you click that, then this object file will be converted into exe file only in that computer. So that's the reason it is also, it is more compatible to that particular processor. Same is the story. Now compiled version of your C is what? Program1.c exe. But compiled version of your Java is object file. So this you'll be taking and you'll be executing in another computer. There, in the presence of processor 2 only, that execution will be happening, so that it is like, platform independent. Actually, I want you guys to have the better view or better understanding why actually, these features are. I don't want you to learn these features or something like, what I say, kind of some other language will be, other not language, other subject will be there, right? You'll be having um, civics, political science, biology, like that. I don't want. You don't have to mug up these things. You need to understand these concepts. So Yeah. Next is like what portable. So Java is more about like a portable language means you can write the code in what I say in computer. Okay, you write one big inside that you write the Java code, and that code you can able to run in ATM machine. Right, ATM machines there you can able to run, and the same code you can run in POS. POS means when you go to shopping malls, means when you go to shopping, uh, in those shops, you'll be having a swiping machines, right? You'll swipe them. That is called POS, point of sales. Those machines are called point of sales. So, in ATM machines, in point of sales machines, and we have like that. We have so many things. Scanners, some kind of scanners, and some counting machines. So all these things, most of those things are running in Java. So portability means you have written the code in computer, but it will get executed in other devices as well, right? That is called what portability. It is easy to be carried to any of the devices from one place to another place. Generally, the general meaning of portability, what portable TV. TVs, right? What is portable TV? Portable TV means whose size is very small and which can easily be carried into any area, like your office space or residential space, anywhere you can able to carry. So you might have observed these portable TVs in olden days, like in shops you'll be having at reception or at counter side you'll be having small TVs, right? Those are actually called portable TVs. Okay, fine. That is called what portability. That feature is there with the Java, and it supports it. The next thing is like a robust. Java is like a robust language. Why? Because the moment they created Java, that itself is like a project. Java itself is a project. It has huge library support uh, to implement more complex activities. Also can be done with help of Java language because of its uh, what I say, like more libraries. And I hope you guys already know about Java. Like it's a open source language, programming language. Open source meaning, right? There is small difference between free and open source. Free means you guys are allowed to use it without paying. That is called free. Examples are, you are having some media players and all that. I think maybe VLC media player, you no need to pay anything. I think so. So that is a few things. Example I told, but whatever it is, you are allowed to use them without paying money. Such softwares are known as what? Free. Next is called open source. Open source is also free. First of all, you can use it without paying money. But what exactly open source is? Source means like the code, whatever it is. It is open to the people. So whatever the way they created that Java, example Java, but whatever the way they created, that everything they will give it to the outer world. That is called what? Open source. So anyone can learn not just Java language. Anyone can learn how Java has been written also. What are the library files it is associated with. Everything people can open and people can see that. That is what open source is about. As it is the open source language, so many people are contributing to that language with community will be there, and so many extra things are getting added to the language version by version. So that's why huge library support is there. You can create some small level to very big level applications you can able to create with the help of Java. That is what robust is about. And there is one more actually feature is there, important feature, that is Java is a distributed language, and it is highly secured, and garbage collection is there, and it's object oriented programming. Object oriented programming I will not talk now because it has internally so many things, but I already told about it. Right, real world entities will have some properties and some actions it will do. The same things they incorporated into programming world. That is called object oriented. Now next is what distributed. Java style is like distributed. It's a distributed program. Distributed meaning is okay. With example, I will tell you so that you can easily understand. It is not like one program is running in only one computer. The program is actually written in one computer, but at a time that program will run in not in a particular area, but in a distributed environment, the programs will be running. Not different programs, guys. Here are same program, but it will run in different areas at a time. Uh, how to say this? Okay, Reliance, right? Reliance is into different industries. Okay, I will go with some small thing like um, Reliance Trends. Take example of Reliance Trends or Reliance Digital Water. Okay, take example of Reliance Trends or Reliance Bazaar, Smart, Reliance Smart is there. So what exactly happens in Reliance Trends? How Reliance Trends? How many will be there are trends or Reliance Trends? It is like in every shopping mall you might have one trends, right? Yeah. So like that, if you take Hyderabad, you might be having outside and shopping malls all together. You might have something like around 60, minimum 60 outlets will be there. That too only in Hyderabad. Example, I'm telling. Like that, in another metro cities also, you'll be having around 40 and whatever it is. So throughout the India, throughout the country, you might be having some thousand stores. Some thousand stores will be there, right? So the moment when you are going to, that reception people billing counter, I say. So then there what they do, they take your goods and they'll be doing some process, right? They'll be scanning them and that's something they do, right? And after that they'll be giving you the bill and you'll be paying them money, right? So what I'm saying here is they'll be doing something over there, right? What they do, they will be doing it with the help of a software application only, right? Definitely. So that software application they are running there, right? Whatever the application they are running in Hyderabad one store, the same they will be running in Pune store also, right? So that application is actually created only for at one time. So I am not talking about web applications, guys. Don't think like web application. That is not like a Gmail application. So it is not like a browser opened and no, it is like a you'll be having game, right? How game is open, you don't need to go for browser, right? Directly game is installed, you click that, game is suddenly open. In that way only they'll be having the application in their computer, but all are distributed in nature. So everything runs same code but on different machines. So the running or the execution or the working of the Java code is not confined to one device over there. That is divided across multiple devices, or it is distributed across multiple areas or multiple devices. That is what distributed nature is about. Next, we have something like secure. Java is highly secure language. So you know very well that when you are creating the applications, definitely there should be security, right? Then there is no point of creating the application which is vulnerable, right? So we have to create any programs. Definitely, the program should be secure. C in other language means okay, before Java I'm talking. So C language is there. Then people whatever they develop C language applications, are they not secure? No, they also secure. But the thing is, the code whatever you write using C language for any application development, that is normal code you write. Now after that, to apply the security to your program, again you need to write another program around the program. So around the actual application program, you need to start writing another program exclusively for security purpose. I hope you got my point. So, but whereas in the Java, security or security in Java, the style of programming, the way we write the code, that style itself provides security to the program. So what does it mean and all? We'll be talking in later sessions. The moment when we write the code, at that time, we'll come to know about it. We'll be using some access specifiers. We will be confining like certain data only in one class it should be existed, in another class it should not be existed. So like that, we have some what I say, like some abstraction will be there. We don't allow that to be executed in every folder also. Only in the specific folders we allow them to be executed. Yes, these things will happen in Java. That's why default security is there. Next is something like a garbage collection. So general meaning of garbage is like what? Which is not useful, right? Garbage. Garbage collection or garbage collectors means Whenever we write any program, where programs will run first of all in computer, in simple words, computer. uh, how can you say computer's capability is good? I mean, it's like, it's computer is working fast and all, only because of RAM, right? Yes. If you have a proper RAM, like, more RAM, it's like a faster. So when program is running, data will be stored in the program. When you shut down the program, the data is released. But where it will store the data? Directly in the RAM, the data will be stored. Sometimes it will use secondary memory also, like hard disk. It will use, but the basic data stored in the RAM for temporary purpose. I'm talking. Okay. So at that time, suddenly what happens? Sometimes it will use some memory available in your computer. Then the moment you're closing the program, then what should happen? You need to free up that memory. Free up means whatever you used, the moment you're closing your application, you have to free the same one. But when you're talking about that, if you don't do that, actually, generally, sometimes the program whatever executed just before already used some memory in that computer. Then next program again you are running something after some time, then again that is also using some memory. Next, like that you are doing. Then at some time your system or your computer, it can be anything, the system can be anything, that might get into a mode where you can't perform other operations, that system hanging something, you say that, right? So that is what. So here the problem is you need to release that whatever the resources occupied or captured by that particular program has to be released, how to be released properly. So for that, in C language again, there is a concept like freeing the memory. MLOC, CLOC, memory allocation will be there, and freeing the memory concept also will be there. But as a programmer, we have to take that responsibility of freeing the memory. But in Java language, there is a concept called garbage collection, and there is a person called garbage collector. Person means it's a program only. Internally, it's program is there. Who has written that program? Whoever created Java language, they already created it. So by default it will run. So that garbage collector will free up the memory. Garbage means some what I say, some variables you created and some data stored in that, and that variables now no longer you are using, but still the memory is wasted. You understood, right? Such things will automatically deleted. Means that memory will be deleted, not variables from your code. Don't think in different way. Clear? That memory will be freed up. Such activities who will do? Garbage collection. Collection is a process and garbage collector is there. It's a program default, it will execute. For that, you no need to do anything. That is what garbage collection is about. That is very, very important feature of Java. And next is OOP, object oriented programming concept. I already told you the outside the real world entities will have certain properties and all, right? And actions, those things they incorporated in the programming world. That is what main reason or main thing behind this object oriented programming. Most of the people say, like, the concepts, actually concepts good, but the concepts are used to understand the object oriented programming concept, but the main reason behind that object oriented programming is this one. Clear? And coming to those concepts, they are not like small concepts. We'll be learning about those concepts in upcoming sessions. We'll be talking about all the concepts. So that's it, guys. This is about the features of Java language. So I talked about that what is object oriented program, and then I started with all these features like simple platform independent, portable, robust, distributed, secured, and all these things. I hope you guys are clear with today's session. So in tomorrow's session, we'll be talking about how to write Java code and how to save Java code in your computer. Then how to execute Java code and how to see the output. Those basic activities we are going to see in the next session. I hope you are clear with this session. So if you are having any doubt regarding today's session, just let me know, guys. Else, if you are fine with today's session, just to mention like you are clear quickly. Just mention in the chat box like you are clear. Else, if you are having any doubts, just mention your doubts in the chat box. Yeah, now Kumar. Uh, Prakash Patel, Rachna. Yeah, Prakash, do you have any doubt?
No, I don't.
Clear, right? Yeah. Okay, guys. In tomorrow's session, we start slowly. A bit of little bit of practical things like how to write Java code, basic Java code, and what is the basic structure for Java code. Then how to compile Java code, and then how to execute Java code. We are going to see those concepts in the next session. So bye, guys. Take care.